It says we're live. Let's see how long it takes you all to find me. Because of course I dropped in by surprise. That rhymed, I think. It says we're live. Of course I dropped in by surprise. See, it rhymes. I'm having a good day. I hope you all are having a good day. I am rejoicing because we had crazy storm opportunities here where I live until about 5:30 in the morning, and everything fizzled out before it got to me. Just poof. Also, it showed, well, I got up here without a water. Also, it showed that a tornado warning went right over my head last night, over my home here. It was funny. I had a friend on the phone with me, and we were praying and taking authority and talking to God about it, and lo and behold, the guy on the live thing online from the local news said exactly where it was crossing over, and they showed it on the map. It was right over my house, this whole area here. But the deepest, most intense part of the tornado warning, though we did not see it touch the ground, it was swirling big time in the clouds, came right over my head. And this guy says, if you live right here, you no doubt are hearing tons of thunder and lightning, seeing tons of lightning and high winds and rain. And we did not. I did not. We did not. It was like nothing. It was so obviously out of the ordinary and not natural. It was barely moving the leaves on the tree last night. And I watched it in amazement, and I just said, wow, you told me it wouldn't be bad here. Hardly rained. There was no wind to speak of. There was certainly no tornado, and I actually walked outside on the east side of my house and looked in the distance, and I could see lightning going off in the distance and a long ways off. Couldn't even hear the thunder from it. But the air, it smelled funny. It smelled like hot metal. Sort of reminds me of batteries, like a burning metal something. And I guess that was the intense polarity and electricity in the air. But it did nothing here. I am so thankful. I am so thankful. And we didn't have any in our entire area, although they were expecting lots of trouble. And I'm just so thankful. So I'm feeling good today for a lot of reasons. And one of them is I had an amazing encounter, many of you would say, with spirit, with however you would put it. I had an encounter with the Lord. He is the one I deal with. It was amazing. It's amazing to be enveloped in that kind of love and approval, and I've been in a tough place with this car crash and the injuries and all the difficulties that have been going on, and really serious financial stuff. If it were not for you all doing the GoFundMe and sending things like these amazing gifts to PayPal and buy me a coffee and buying things from the store, my energy store online, if it were not for that, I would have been in a real fix. I'm having to use my own money to pay for the doctor. And of course I owe the hospital a whole ton of money from the CAT scans and being in the emergency room. But I know it's going to be okay. And I especially know now, because after being held in the embrace of this one who loves us all so much. I know it's going to be a-okay, totally. It would take a lot to make this a hard, bad day for me. And I am sorry if any of you guys are having a tough time. I'm not making light of that at all. I hope that you all will feel relief and help very soon. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the things you could do, because we have a lot of new folks, you know. A lot of new people coming to our page. And I don't think they know about the things that they could do to feel better. So let's take a look quickly at the energies. And let's see if I can get this off here without dropping it. Okay, here we go. Let's start out. Oh, phone is slick because I don't have the case on it, because the case won't fit on my little stand up there anymore. There's a bit of a dilemma. What can I do about this? I've never had to deal with this. So maybe extra awkward today. I may be dropping the phone on top of shaking it. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'm going to do here. Okay. This is the Geospace Magnetosphere Cut Planes model. Let's take a look and see if it will show us anything about what's happening. Let's start at the beginning. This is velocity. Velocity, the most intense, is blue, and then green and yellow, and then orange. And red is like a background. Very, very red. Here we go. Look at all the green. And of course, that's Earth, day side, night side. Sorry, it's a little crooked. I'm to hold the phone funny. Look at all the blue. Yes, that's a lot of velocity. Boom, and something hit us, and that's right about 2130 UTC. And something's hitting again. Let's watch that at the end. Here, let's come over to this side. You can see the numbers up here. That's UTC. I'm going to start it right here again. And boom, right at about 2130 UTC. And then you see something new is happening right there. This is not astounding, but it's very active, to say the least. But the shields are clearly defined. So they're in place. They're doing their job, whatever that is exactly. And watch the slider at the bottom. We're coming up on about now. This is density. The most intense is dark blue. Boom! Something hit. Okay, let's watch that. Watch the time. Well, it snuck by me. 21:30. Boom! And something else at 22. Okay, how interesting. I didn't notice that up above. That other thing hitting. Very, very, very recent. Okay, starting, most intense on this is pressure. It's red. Then it goes to orange and yellow. And then into the dark blue as a background. Okay, it's resetting itself. You can see the slider come. This covers about a 3-hour period. Look at all the red all around Earth. Oh, and the shields are shaking around a bit. Let's see what happens here. Coming up, that was 230. Didn't show very much. Okay, and then 22, we see more. How interesting. Did this thing change just since we've been watching it? Things are hitting at almost 2200 UTC. And there's nothing really at 2130. Let's go to the top and watch this again. Okay. Something changed. What is going on? I declare it was showing 2130 with the first bump on this thing, but we'll be able to tell with the replay because we recorded the first part. Unless we just experienced a timeline shift and everything has changed. It's possible. It's possible nowadays. Wow, I'm feeling so much love. I'm feeling so much bliss. I'm just feeling so much good stuff. Now that is a weird signature up in the clouds. I'm going to show you all this. Hold on a minute. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this. Let's see if I can get up there where you can see it. Look at that. You see those dark blue streaks coming down into the clouds? How extremely unusual. Can you all see it? I don't know what that is. I don't think I've ever seen that effect. I can't see over the other way, but yeah, that's extremely unusual. And I guess y'all know I'm a serious sky watcher. Hold on, I'm trying to get this turned around. There we go. That is very different. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very, very clear streaks. And maybe 3 more to make it 8. How odd! Oh, who has joined me up here? Oh, it's Chipper. You're going to see my messy upstairs. Hold on a minute. Chipper is frolicking in his chair. Oh, Chipper! That is... I think they planned those things. He was frolicking and playing and carrying on, and then he starts grooming his hindquarters. That was very rude. Shocked. I'm appalled, Chipper. He's totally ignoring me now. Well, I guess you got me. Yeah, I reckon you did. Little rascal. Now he looks very pleased with himself. Okay, I tried. I tried to show you how cute he is, but he had to show himself to be a little rascal cat. Okay, let's look at the charts again. This is the Geospace Magnetosphere Cut Planes. This will show us a story when nothing else will. But today we have other things to look at. The slider at the bottom, this whole thing covers about 3 hours. We're coming up on almost now. So I was laughing at Chip. It looks like kind of a delayed reaction. All right, boom. How odd. This one appears to be showing something. Okay, watch 2130. Okay, what happened here? I'm going back to the middle. I'm watching 2130. Something showed up there. And then something at 22. And a minute ago, when I looked at it, it didn't seem to be there. 2100, 2130, and we saw it again. And now the whole thing is reset. Let's quit watching that one. Let's come down here, and we're about halfway across on the slider time, so we're coming up on now. 2130, looks like nothing happened. And 22, and we got a big bounce there, and then one more. So let's watch that again. And that's Earth, of course, that little round circle. 21. Okay. 21. We got something going on at 2130 there, a little before. And then right before 22, UTC. Definitely got some significant activity that just came. Let's go to the middle here and let's watch pressure. Oh, 2130. We saw that. And 22, right before 22. Red is the most intense. Yeah, Chipper, here you come. Forget it. You lost your chance at the spotlight, boy. Watch the hit. Boom. Yeah, there's definitely stuff going on. Stuff happening. Oh, is that how it's gonna be? What? What? It's birds? Oh, I see. Well, go on over there and look at him. There he goes. He's gonna observe the view. Okay, now things should settle down here. Never a dull moment. I'm glad many of you love Chipper and Sugar, my cats, and put up with their shenanigans. Okay. Let's look over here. Actually, I want to show you something real quick before we go to the actual charts. Let's take a look at some photographs that I've taken. Okay. Look at this. Very short time ago, at 5:18 Eastern Standard Time, which is my time, the solar wind got up to 763.6 kilometers per second. That's over 1,000,000 miles an hour. We figured it a while back. It was pushing it was like 1.9 million miles an hour, almost 2 million. This is fast. This is very, very fast. And you can see the red lets you know it's way up there across the graph part. When it's this fast, current speed, it will take, solar wind 35 minutes to propagate from Discover, which is a spacecraft, to Earth. So that's how they measure where solar flares are when they've entered, you know, how close they are and so forth, or CMEs, I should say, by when they pass Discover. And this is some fast wind. I'm not sure what's triggering it, but we got so much going on. Now let's take a look here. Chipper's all worked up about the birds. Okay, I have a lot of lovely birds that hang out on my porch rooftop. And I put, sunflower seed out for them. There's a beautiful red finch out there. Okay, focus, Marguerite. All right, kind of hard seeing with the light in here. This, we don't know what that is. That is an anomaly. That's what we would say. That's an anomaly. What is it? Often these are in two compartments when we see them around the sun. This is the sun, this white circle, and this is an occluder. It occludes and covers the brightness so they can take the photo from the satellite camera. And this is one of the two compartment, like capsule-like things, objects, shall we say. Very interesting they are. Okay, I wanted to show you that. And what else can I show you here before we leave the photographs? We have had all kinds of solar storms. We've had KP4, KP5, KP6 last night. That's G1, G2, etc. And Chipper boy, don't be a pest. No, you can't stay right there. Nope. 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 Go on. Bye-bye. Boy, he was really pushing it. Little rascal. I almost called him a brat. Well, I've done it now, so hopefully you won't be offended at me for calling my own cat a brat. It's my fault he is a brat. I mean, most of it, probably. Not all of it, but a great deal. But cats are delightful, and you just gotta let them be themselves, which may encourage bratdom. All right, you can tell I'm in a good mood. That experience with the Lord really set everything good for me this morning. I learned a lot, saw a lot, experienced a lot, and my outlook is much brighter on things. As far as the Tomsk Russian chart of the Schumann resonance, it's pretty calm. Here we are. We have a lot of activity on multiple levels, these horizontal lines. We had a little spike here, one over here, but they, as you can see, they did not register as much at all. I mean, really not even worth mentioning the numbers. However, this does mean that areas in our life are being dealt with, and depending on the frequency and the Hertz cycle that this lies upon, will let you know what part of your brain is being influenced, because these do correlate to our brain waves. And if you want to see more about that, go to the top of my page to the featured post. And this over here, these are the Hertz on this spectrogram. It goes from 0 up to 40. And it gets really shaky when you enlarge it like that. And there you can see spectrogram. They used to call it a spectrograph, but now it's showing up as a spectrogram. And you can go to the top of my page, to the featured post, to one that has something written on the Schumann kit. And you can learn all about this stuff. I have an article I wrote and I put in there about the different frequencies and how they correlate to our brain waves and how they influence our behavior and the way that we feel. This looks pretty normal. For instance, on a day you're very sleepy, it's probably going to be running in the low Hertz areas, because that is where your frequency that has to do with sleeping and dreaming and all kinds of things, or even up into alpha, pardon me, which is where children live, and a lot of us artistic, strange types hang out in alpha a lot. It's kind of a daydreamy place, and it's very hazy, sleepy sort of things. And then if it gets way up into high beta, you may feel a little hyper and super vigilant. All of this influences us. That's one of the reasons we watch the Schumann resonance, is because of these correlations. Currently, we are barely at KP4. Just not quite. And here we have the solar wind is now at 722.2 kilometers per second. It has gone down a bit. It was, what, 760 something? That's still super fast. Density, a little high. Interplanetary magnetic field is elevated. That looks like a crazy swirling thing that runs all the way through our universe. It's like it distributes all that magnetic energy. It's amazing. You look it up online and see the graphs for it. And we are now BZ north, but we've been in the south, and we're going back and forth through it. We feel it more when we're in the south. There is the moon phase currently. This is the magnetometer. Oops. Look at Sweden's. And you can see it's showing we're down in kind of a stormy area. However, this one, the Disturbance Storm Time Index that we watch a lot, it's finally come up out of a moderate storm. You can see it's up here just above it. And here's the astral oval, as they call it. You can see where astral aurora oval, where the aurora is currently very high up north and way down south. And in the nighttime parts of Earth, you might be able to see that. And birds are just flitting around like crazy out there. Let's see who's out there right now. It's a little finch and a dove. I have lots of doves. Finch or sparrow? Can't see it. Sorry, that was someone trying to call me. They don't know I'm doing a live broadcast and I didn't turn the thing off. I better do that real quick. Do not disturb. Okay. We're almost done. There's not a whole lot to show you yet. This coronal hole, they're not mentioning it anymore. I don't know why. It's clearly Earth-facing, even though it's not on the equator. The sun has an equator too. I assume that's why they're not showing it, because this was higher up, closer to the equator, and this is down south. But that still can influence us. The solar winds from a coronal hole usually show up within a few days. All right, let's look into it. There is nothing happening with solar flares. We're way down in the B range. We also are not having any real things happening with radiation. I'm pleased to hear that. We only have a 10% chance of an X-flare. And hold on, let me change pages without... Okay, here we go. Current warnings and alerts. The solar wind speed is currently high, and they've got it lower than it actually is here right now. Strength of the interplanetary magnetic field is moderate at 10.12. Okay, and that's really about all we can see there. The solar wind being so high, I think is propitious. I think it's notable. I think every time we see that, it often is showing us something that we may not ever see the full reason for it, but we can feel it. We're so sensitive, you know. Pretty much everyone on our page is. You all are a sharp, sensitive bunch. What else shall we look at? Let's look quickly at the alternative charts for the Schumann, as I call them. Okay, as you can see here, there's not a lot of electrical activity. It's enlightening. Here's Cumiana over here. And the whole boot of Italy is not really showing any lightning. So that should not be influencing what we're seeing here, but there's not a lot happening here either. So this is Cumiana activity, but no major crazy spikes. We do have a lot happening up here on the geophone and less over this way. You can see the glowing here where some spikes were happening a few hours ago. And here shows us the big picture and lots of activity, but nothing incredible. This is Etna Radio Observatory. We have a big spike showing up here and a lot of anomalies. And moving on through, not much. Okay, there's a spike showing up there. Different color, but looks like it's probably the same inspiration. It's also from Etna though, so it's maybe territorial, or regional, I should say. And here we have a lot of beautiful colors. And moving along, nothing really too outside. Lots of anomalies still happening on the charts, but they have leveled out a bit. Spikes, but nothing to write home about, folks. Fellow Schumannites. Oh my goodness. They are putting major streaks through my sky, and that usually doesn't happen over my house. They cannot stay over my house. They dissipate. But these are very fresh. Do you know you can put orgonite? Should I say this? I'm actually considering making, or getting someone to help me make some resin orgonite pyramids. And I mean big ones, like 10 inches high, filled with, you know, little quartz crystals and shavings of metal. And when the resin sets up, it squeezes all those crystals and everything. It causes a piezoelectric thing. And when orgonite takes in negative, harmful energies and transmutes them into something positive. And according to a particular guy I really enjoy watching, who gets banned all the time everywhere, he says if you put 3 to 5 of those out in your yard, that it will clear your skies for 50 miles all the way around. He says you can even put them in your car and drive and watch the skies clear above you. I'm very, very much wanting to make some of these and make them available to you through the store. If you find that interesting, let me know. Okay. I might just say anything today. I'm in one of those moods. I want to talk to you all about the power of words and the power of agreement. I want us to, let me put this phone up here. Hold on, hopefully I can do this without dropping it. Hold on. Oh my goodness, without the cover on it, it's a problem. Wow! It's all floppy jawed. Hold on a moment, y'all. There, that's a little better. Okay. But with the cover on it, my new nice cover, which I really like. See, it's lovely. See, I have one of the EMF protectors on it that I tend to give to you all with your orders if they're not teeny tiny. If I can afford to give to you for free, I do. And this is really cool. No, I don't sell these. This is very cool because you can use this to set your phone up, prop it up, and all that stuff, or just use it to hold on to it. Problem is this won't fit in my holder anymore because it sticks out, as you can see. So it's a bit of a problem. Let's talk about words. Let's talk about our page. Sharing how we're feeling is really important. That's one of the main reasons we have the page, so that we can watch the Schumann resonance and observe how it's influencing us and our loved ones. I've told this a lot of times. The first time when I saw the Schumann resonance in action, I knew it was causing major change in people's behavior. I was watching a live feed, this was years ago, and I drove into an area of town nearby, and it's normally a very peaceful area. And it's, you know, where there are some businesses, but it's not a big area. And as I was driving through, all of a sudden, it's like this crazy sensation came. And people started running each other off the road. I'd never seen anything like it. It was more than one car tried to run a car off the road next to it. I was like, oh my gosh. And then people were hanging out the window, shaking their fists and screaming at each other. I got off the road quick. I pulled off to the side and I went, I'm going to wait this out. And I thought about the Schumann resonance, which I was beginning to study at that time. And I opened up my iPhone, found the feed, and there was a huge white spike from top to bottom hitting us right then on the Russian Schumann resonance. Of course, white is the most intense, besides black. And I couldn't believe it. I looked around and I saw how people were freaking out to the shift in the energies and the high frequency that was shaking them up. Because when this happens, it causes us to have to create new neurosynaptic pathways in our brains. It forces alterations in the brain. And, you know, if you know somebody with a brain injury, which I've been one of those people recently because of a wreck, but I'm healed. I feel quite healed because of what happened to me today. Anyway, when you know someone who has a brain injury, if something stresses them, pushes them out of their comfort zone, the easiest reaction for the brain is anger or irritation. And these people were reacting with anger and irritation. And I just stared at it, was just stunned. And I thought, this Schumann resonance thing is for real. This is for real. So on days when it's really spiking and things are shifting and changing, many of you say, you know, I'm just really irritable today. Or I just chewed somebody out. Or somebody just threw a fit on me or whatever. When this happens, it pushes many people and even animals to their limit. So we have to be very wise with ourselves and with other people and not let it control us. The other thing on our list of symptoms, which I post often, you know, showing how some people respond. Some people get headaches. Some people feel nauseous. Some people have other digestive issues. Some people have their heart flip-flops around, which is very uncomfortable. And there are a myriad of things: dizziness or disorientation, brain fog. Some people feel hyper energized in a way they call a feeling of anxiety, but it's actually super high energy. And if we flow with it and know we're safe, then the anxiety should not grab you so. But when all this is going on, and some people have some really serious reactions, and I am not taking any of that lightly at all. It's one of the reasons we have this page. But you know, if you can, make sure to share honestly and don't exaggerate anything. I'm not saying you are, but just please, if you can take the high road in this, realize that there are many people reading what you're saying, and it is stressful, and we are stressed and strained with these changes and these incredible energies coming in, but they're coming in for a reason, and that's what we've got to remember. Like I often say to you all, usually closer to the end than anything else, we're not going through all this for nothing. We're going someplace really good. 5D. This is part of an era change. This is part of new Earth coming in. Major shifts. And many people believe that these accelerations in energies and photonic light energy coming in, which photonic light, laser type light, etc., that is what triggers the DNA to adapt and to change and upgrade. So when it's coming in, it may not be comfortable, or you may not feel anything. You may feel fine, like I'm feeling fine today. But if you do feel something, try to remind yourself this is not some sort of hopeless thing. It will pass. You will feel better. You will. But the way we respond to these energies has a great deal to do with how well we do flowing through them or moving through them. Imagine a stream, a mountain stream, rushing down, and say it's about, 4 feet across, but it's got a large amount of water in it. It's moving quickly. If you throw a big rock into it, like big, you're going to see all kinds of splashing, disruption, roaring, carrying on. But if you let it flow, it's going to just move more smoothly. The other example, I guess, is when you step out into a stream like that. If you face it, you become more of a blockage, and it will push on you really hard, especially if it's up to your waist or more. It can be hard to stand at it, but if you turn sideways to where you're more of a narrow block, it will flow around you better. Or if you're in a position where it's safe enough to do it, if you can lie on your back, relax with maybe a float, and let it carry you downstream comfortably without any disruption to speak of at all. On the contrary, it can become something you enjoy. And that may not have been the best way. I may not have said that the best, but if you get upset, filled with anxiety, and let yourself go with it and say, I can't stand this anymore. How long is this going to last? I hate this. That is like fighting against the incredible energy that is coming in here to set us free from this prison system. And it's you that's going to feel the effects of it. That will cause you to feel the intensity of the energy more than anything if you fight against it. But if you kind of yield to it, take a deep breath and don't be afraid, and know this is going to pass. It's coming through. It's accomplishing whatever needs to be done in me to cause me to be of the right frequency, that when this big change comes in, we will be able to match the frequency of the new earth, the new era, however you want to put it, and we will move or ascend right into it. That is what many people believe this is really about. So please do tell and express how you're feeling on our feed, on our comment section. But realize that there are people who may be suffering from many different things that are going to be reading what you're saying. Try to couch or position or put your words in a setting that will somehow not be harmful to others, if that makes sense. Like if someone's just sort of on their last leg, the last rope, perhaps they just lost their loved one. Maybe, they're having serious financial trouble. Or maybe something is surfacing in their life, like memories and issues that were trauma related or whatever. And these energies will bump against things in you and jar them loose, and that causes that heavy, sticky, stuck energy that can cause you illness. It can stop the flow of energy through your life, take a lot out of you. But when the energies hit that, it dislodges them very often. This dark, sticky stuff, heavy energy, and things will come loose. You may have memories you haven't thought of in a long time, dreams that begin revealing to you stuff you may not have remembered or something. And this we call purging or processing or being healed of something. If we see it as all fearful and horrible and disruptive, it's going to be harder for us to benefit and move forward. But if we respond with love, knowing that it is a loving source, angelic intervention that is sending this to us to help us make this change, it will make it easier for us to flow through it. Now, the other thing we want to talk about is agreement. When we do a meditation together, and we've really only done a couple types, and the main one is the heart-brain coherence meditation, which is very simple and very powerful. But when we do a meditation together, we come into agreement. And scriptures say two are better than one. For when one falls in a ditch, the other can help them out. And another scripture says, one can set 1,000 enemies to flight, but two can set 10,000 to flight. So we're dealing with synergy. And when we come together, and I love it when I see you all come to each other's aid, you rush to one another and say, I'm so sorry you're going through this. I hope this gets better very soon. Or, I understand, I have been going through a similar thing. You know, and a couple of you have seen, I will send love and energy to you. I will pray for you. We'll come through this together. It's beautiful. You are the most extraordinary group. Our tribe, you all are the best. So what I'm saying is, if we're having a bad day, which we've had some of those recently, and I was struggling too before today, I'll just share with you. It's gone now, and I'm so grateful. I don't tell you what I'm going through usually when it's going on. I'll tell you about it later. With the concussion and neck injury that I got in that nasty car crash, I went to my neurologist and someone slammed the brakes on in front of me, and I was 8 cars back, car lengths back, but they slammed on their brakes. We went from 45 to 0 in probably about 2 or 3 seconds. I have really fast reflexes, even as it is. And I hit my brake and I slowed. I pulled over to the side as I could in case the person behind me couldn't slow down quick enough. And you better believe I was watching them, because I got rear-ended in that car crash, and that's what did the damage. But the thing was, I had to stop so quickly. What happens? You go forward, you know, which is one of the actions I experienced. And after we stopped and we were sitting there, it was like waves crashing inside my head. It was pretty awful. Like crashing. The sensation of roaring and blasting and movement in my head, hard to describe. And I sat there trying to pull my head together in traffic before we started again, and it let up, but it was like a roar in my head, even though it was not a sound. But it's hard to describe. The brain is an amazing thing. And I was on my way to the neurologist, and when I saw him, I told him about it, and he said, well, the forward motion, put your neck in a compromised position, triggering things to happen. And the problem was, after that, it started happening more when I wasn't doing anything. And it was very disorienting. I haven't had any of it today, thank God. And didn't have any yesterday either, right? Yesterday I was fine. That's just some of the stuff, you know. Also, I have 2 broken vertebrae, but I'm doing amazingly well, and I can tell I'm healing really well there. I don't feel anything. Maybe that got healed today too when I was with the Lord, I'm not sure. But we're all going through things, some more than others. Some of you are really getting hit hard. And if you're in a place of stress in your life, if you're going through a really difficult time emotionally or mentally or with your job or your family, and then these energies come in on top of that, it can really push you in a way that can be hard. And being there for one another is priceless. Knowing that we're not alone in all of this is priceless. I guess what I kind of want to encourage you, I'll just say it. I don't want to hinder anybody. I don't want you to feel like there's some sort of rules on here besides love one another and be kind. But this is part of kind of loving one another. If we get too much into a misery fest, we actually can generate more of it in everyone's life that's involved. Because that synergy is at work, you see? We're powerful beings. And we pick up a vibe. We have that mirror neuron thing about us. I talked about a long time ago. It's how children learn from their parents before they understand words, really. And it's the way animals teach their young. It's how we learn what to do in social settings. It's why we think and believe and do things the way we do. The mirror neurons, they call them, in our brain, we see someone else do something, and if we like that person, or if they're influential over us for whatever reason or whatever, our brains will respond and will mirror that. And so the scriptures that say bad company corrupts good morals is true. Who you hang out with, you will reflect. So if you hang out with someone that's fabulous, wonderful, kind, and loving, those mirror neurons will respond to that, and you will reflect and be more like them. So it is even in the threads on the page. And there's some of you that are just heroes in my mind. You come in and you say the most beautiful, kind, loving things, while at the same time being real and authentic about your own experience. That sort of thing I see a lot on our page, and I want to see so much more even, because we can lift each other up during difficult times. So I hope that made sense. We are very much unified, and we're very one and connected on this page. So I want to encourage you once again, we're not going through all of this for nothing. This is not a vain gesture or trip or something to just make us miserable. On the contrary, this is part of the ascension of the human race. This is part of what certain traditions and spiritual writings call New Earth coming into play. It is us coming out of the prison place that we've been in, because of whether you want to call it the devil or reptilians or a powerful race that deceived us long ago, and we laid down and forgot who we were. We have been in like a prison planet. We've been used by other beings, whether you want to talk about the ones that are of us, is pure human, or that there are spiritual beings or something else like that out there that have used us like cattle to siphon off of us our very life force. Loosh is what it's called by many people. And the bottom line is, Creator, Prime Source Creator, has decided, as well as angelic, extraterrestrial, not of this earth beings, have decided it's enough. That Earth has been through enough. That the people of Earth have been through enough. The animals, the creatures, the life forms on Earth, all beings have been through enough. As a matter of fact, it's prophesied that it would go on for so many centuries, and we're at the end of that. It's like a lease that we gave up to this group of beings. Hey, who's that? Patty Lynn Kittle. Thank you. She sent me 500 stars. I appreciate it. That's fun. All the little gizmos on the screen. Thank you, Patty Lynn. We have been oppressed as a people. And I mentioned this the other day. There's a scripture that says that the whole earth, all the animals and the creatures have been suffering because we lost our place in creation. We forgot who we were. Some people believe we had 3 strands of DNA, not just 2. And some people believe we had as many as 12. One of the things that is said in many traditional belief systems is that we carry the creative nature in us of our prime creator. But most people forgot that. That may have been part of the strand that got taken, or multiple strands. It's coming back, beloved. We're beginning to see more and more miracles. I've seen a bunch in my days, but they only started in like 2004. Before that, I didn't see many at all. Now I see lots. And I mean miracles. It has to break the laws of nature, so to speak. Our fallen situation, in my opinion, to be called a miracle. Like an instant healing, something that medicine cannot help, it's terminal, that's a miracle. That kind of thing. So it seems where we are is what has been stolen from us is coming back. And one of the ways it's coming back is through this photonic light. It's incredibly intense, bright, powerful photonic energy that's coming from out there. Not all of it's coming from the regular sun. Many people say it's coming from the central sun, and it's coming from places they don't even know. Furthermore, it's so intense, we don't apparently have instruments to even measure it. That's what we're watching when we watch these charts. That's what we're watching when we watch the Schumann resonance. We're watching the energies. Why? Not just because we can see why everybody might be in a bad mood or feel wonky, but so that we can see and understand, and in our understanding make way to cooperate with this incredible power that is being sent to us to transform us so that we can remember who we really are. Like I was saying, that scripture says, the whole earth suffers and is travailing like a woman giving birth. All of the earth and nature was subjected in hope for this day that is coming, when the sons and daughters of God remember who they are again. And we take our place as those who watch over and care for the earth and all the animals and the creatures, and are no longer subject to forces controlling us, but all of a sudden come to the realization that we are one with one another. What we do to another, we've done to ourselves, good or bad, and the realization that we are one with our source. And in that place of hope and possibility and understanding who we truly are, the desperation, the misery, it causes people to steal and to be jealous and fearful and to harm others and animals and nature without even thinking, is going away. Thank you, Anne Sherry. She sent me 20 stars. Thank you so much. Those of you who are not familiar with stars, 1 star equals approximately 1 cent or 1 penny. So that is 20 cents. Thank you so much. I feel the love, I really do. So, all creation is travailing and longing for the day that we remember who we are and come back into our place. That's what this is about. This incredible photonic energy. It is waking us up. It is causing us to remember things and know things. It is restoring us. And no, it's not always comfortable. But if you stay in that high frequency of LOVE, and I mean capital love, unconditional, beautiful love. You can flow with these energies better because there is no fear. Perfect love casts out fear. Well, thank you. My goodness, Ann Sherry just sent 20 more stars. Thank you. Wow. So when you open your mouth, I want you to realize you have such power in your words. When you speak to your own body, your whole body responds to you. That old car you have, everything that we see around us that looks solid is actually vibrating many little tiny molecules of energy all around it, spaces between all of them, ether. Now they want to call it the Bose, the God particle. The old timers called it ether. They knew that wasn't empty void out there, it was not. It's creative stuff. It is the stuff of creation. It's what we make things out of when we speak, when we feel it in our hearts, when we believe it, when we imagine it, visualize it, and receive it and feel it, just like it's happening right now. It's powerful. It is the principle given to us by our Creator Source, how to change things here. And it's not traditionally done now because we had forgotten about it. And only a few people would punch through the glass ceiling, and we called them the greats and the champions and the saints, didn't we? Or the little gods, little God. But that is our place too. That is our place too. So the easiest thing I can say is follow after love and peace with everyone that you can. And if you blow it, if you throw a fit, yell and scream at somebody, well, say you're sorry when you realize what you've done, if you can, if they're around to do it. Then have a talk with yourself and forgive yourself and move on. Don't get caught in guilt or shame of some sort. Let everything be a step up to a new level of understanding. And we do the best we can right where we are, with what we have, where we've been, and what we know, and what we've experienced. That's all any of us can do. And, oh, Jeannie, girl, look what you put on me. 250 stars. Thank you very much. That's so funny looking. The kitty cat ears and muzzle. Where are the kitty cats? I don't know. Anyway, we're powerful beings. Sherry? Aunt Sherry just sent me 20 more stars. Thank you. I'm feeling the love. I'll tell you another secret. For me, it's a secret. I'm 64. That's not a secret. But how I learned what I learned is something I think that not many people know. This is it in a nutshell. And it came through a lot of years of spending time in prayer and meditation. I used to pray and meditate 5 hours a day. I did that for years. Was I trying to be somebody? No. I was so hungry. So hungry for the things of the Spirit and so wanting to spend time in the presence of love. In the midst of all that time, this is what I learned. When you lay hands on someone who needs healing, if you realize that God, Source, Prime Creator, Great Spirit, whatever you want to call the name, is love. God is love. If you realize that, then you realize there's no contention between you and this amazing being that we come from. And if you realize that you're loved unconditionally by the perfect heavenly parent, perfect, and you realize that you are one with this awesome one, in that place, you know that every spiritual blessing and gift is available to you through this one that loves you so much. That was the message of the Master, Yeshua. The oneness. No shame, no fear. That's all a lie. So when I lay hands on someone, I am very aware. I've stood in heavenly places, literally, and saw and experienced the oneness. I'm going to just share this. And you all, I want you to open the door of your heart. There's a little door, Brother Littlefield, my mentor, taught me, right here at your heart, proverbially speaking. And he used to say to me, little girl, he was from Maine, he had a wonderful accent, little girl, open your heart. He said, open the little door of your heart. And I would do it, and he would tell me something precious and important. Maybe something would be hard for me to chew up. You all love me just like I am, like I love you just like you are. So be patient with me as I share from my heart. And please, when I use a name that many have twisted and used like a weapon, please understand it is not a weapon in my hand. On the contrary, it is why I love like I do. When I lay hands on the sick, I am very aware of my oneness with Source, with Creator, with God. And when I've been in heaven and I've stood there and I've seen Yeshua, Jesus, face to face, I mean clearly, you've never felt so loved and approved of in your whole life. Felt so home, like I've never felt home here. That was home. He was home to me. He did something amazing. He stepped into me. We can't do that here on earth. But I know now that all our molecules are vibrating and there's space in there. And when you're in heaven, the rules are different. He simply was embracing me, had me in his embrace, which was fabulous, beyond any description. And then he just stepped into me. We were one. I was me, he was him, and yet we were one. We were standing in the very same place. If you can imagine that every cell you have was spaced out and had air in between, and the same on this one, and then you just step into one another. Now you are one, but you're still you. It's just hard to describe. About the only thing we have on earth that's close to it is photography, you know, when you put two images on top of each other. When he did that, I got the message, which was, this one loves us so much, just the way we are, that he had no problem becoming one with me. It was like the ultimate act of showing me that he approved of me and really loved me unconditionally. And I got the point though. In one time I was in heaven, I was standing in him, My lips were in his lips, my nose in his, my eyes in his, my hands in his, etc. Just standing there, so aware of the oneness, those movement, this incredible love that's always there. Amazing peace and understanding. But when I lay hands on someone to pray for them, to bring healing into them, I remember whose hands are in mine, that I am one with God. I am one with Source. That my eyes are one with His. That my words, when I speak in a realization of my oneness with this one, my words are powerful. And then I don't rush, but then when I lay my hands on that person, I lay God's hands on that person. And there's power. It's so simple. I don't have to throw a fit. I don't have to say amazing, wise things. I don't have to seem powerful. I just take a deep breath and let that amazing healing power flow through me effortlessly. Like taking a deep breath and letting it out. And my hands will do like they're doing now. They're buzzing, they're humming, they're tingling with energy. And I've shared with you all, it's effortless. Another thing I do is I say out loud. I say, this is what I say in my language, my way of coming in it. Holy Spirit, flow into this person and say their name. Let your healing power flow into them. Just flow. And it's an actual current you can feel. I have seen the most amazing thing, not just once or twice, a lot. And I've shared this with you all before. I found out her name was Diana. She was from New Jersey. She was a Jersey girl. Black hair, black eyes, stunning in her appearance, and a powerful personality. And we became good friends afterwards, but I hadn't seen her before that. And she had a tumor the size of a fist at the base of her spine. And I had someone go with her into another room and confirm it was actually there, because we couldn't see it. She was wearing a dress. And it was confirmed. And after about 4 minutes, that I had a group of young people who wanted to learn how to heal the sick. And so I was teaching them how to flow with the Spirit, because it's a flow, it's effortless. And I had them laying hands on with me. And I told them, realize that Jesus' hands, God's hands, are in yours. You're one with this one. And I said, now lay God's hands on her. And whew, I can feel it now. And we did. Took about 4 minutes. And she said, I think it's gone. And I said, okay, great. Go in the other room. Check it. And they checked it and came back. The fist-sized tumor was gone. Totally. Furthermore, they said where it had been, it had smooth, pink, fresh skin, not a scar. That's one. I'll tell you another one. There was a man, he was so healthy. He was early 40s. His name was Dale. And he was a lumberjack. Now we would call him a tree specialist. He grew up way up in the mountains, and he married someone that I had known for a long time. And she married him, etc. I met her, I knew her first. And he got what was called MRSA, M-R-S-A. And many of you have heard of it. I'm wearing my energy grounding bracelet, wristband, by the way. You see what that is. That's in the shop if you want one. I'm getting a new bunch of them sent in because we're almost out. He worked in the trees. The man was muscular and strong. Had never been to a doctor, was not even born in a hospital. And he went to work in a place for an extra make money job where they poured liquid metal, and he had to wear a flame retardant suit. Well, to cut it short, he went and picked one off the spike on the wall, the hook, and put it on, and someone had it on who had this very contagious thing called MRSA, which is it's a bacterial resistant, it is an in other words, medicines won't kill this bacteria. Antibiotics will not kill it. They only have a couple that influence it at all. And it's a bizarre strand that has developed over the years, supposedly because people don't finish their doses of antibiotic. And it grew and grew until it became like a monster, and it's in hospitals today, messing with people. Well, he got it on his leg. He didn't know what it was. It was like a sore, like a boil. And it itched, and he clawed at it. It started to bleed and ooze. It was terrible, evidently. And he kept ignoring it because he was always healthy. Well, one morning he went to get out of bed, and his wife's name is Liz, and he couldn't get out of the bed. And she worked at the hospital, and she took him there, and they checked him, and they said, this looks like MRSA. We're going to do a coring. They cored it. It was the size of an egg sunk in his calf. It was pretty huge and bigger after they cored it and sent the core off. And they said, if it's MRSA, we will we'll give you an antibiotic and hope you get better. And they said, but if it goes systemic, if you get it in other places on your body, we'll put you in quarantine because you're extremely contagious. And you'll probably die, they said, but we'll give you a couple of medicines that are very damaging to the body, but they're the only thing that influences us at all, and it usually doesn't help at that point. Okay. In a nutshell, it was very bad. He called me, she and he called me one day and said, it's on 2 places on his arm and one over his heart, as well as the huge one on his calf. The way it was growing, it would have gone through his sternum. It ate through bone, cartilage, healthy skin, everything, and it would be in his heart within 5 days, and he would die. This young, healthy man. And Liz had waited her whole life to get married into her 40s, and now this man looked like he's getting ready to die. I said, nope, this isn't happening. Come over, and I called together my group. Don't have a fit or anything, but I was a very unconventional leader of a group called the church. I was the pastor. You never saw a pastor like me, though, and you never saw a church like ours. So I called together the team that I'd trained in healing, and we had Dale standing there in the midst of us, and they told him every inch of his skin was contagious. It was very bad. He had not gone back to the hospital because they probably would not have let him leave. Anyway, cut short, we did what we do. The group with me did it. We follow the leading of the Spirit. Let that healing power flow into him. At the end of it, I said, Dale, you're healed. And he said, yeah, I know, I'm healed by Jesus' stripes. And he ran off a bunch of religious rigmarole. And I said, no, stop. For real, you're healed. He said, okay. I said, let me tell you how crazy this is, but this is what I'm hearing. I said, tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up. Sleep like a baby tonight, because tomorrow morning you go wake up, and every one of these places that look like raw hamburger meat and bleeding and oozing horrible, they had to wrap it with gauze and clean it and change it continually. Every one of those places on you will be dried up or closing up. And he said, okay. That's hard to believe when you have a hole in your leg this big. And I said, that's not all. I said, as crazy as this sounds, this is what I'm hearing. In 3 days, you're not even going to have a scab. I said it. I knew it sounded crazy. The next day I called him and he answered the phone. And I said, how you doing? He said, oh, I'm doing good. I said, well, great. He said, I'm healed. I said, well, it's wonderful. Have you looked? I'm very practical. Because everything was wrapped up in this bandage stuff. He said, no. I said, well, look, while I'm on the phone. And so I heard all this scrambling and they were unwrapping and things were, there was noise. And then suddenly there were some exclamations and some gasps and excited talking. And Liz got on the phone and she said, Marguerite, this is incredible. I said, tell me. She said, the one on his leg that was like an egg sunk into the calf. It was so huge. She said, it is closed up completely and dried up. I said, yay. Yay, that's wonderful. I said, check the others. She said, okay. And they went it was all this racket and excitement, and they got them all unwrapped. And they said, every one of them are closed up and dried up, except for the one on the chest. It still looks a little bit moist, though it's closed. I just nodded my head. I said, that's great. In 3 days, you're not even going to have a scab. Y'all, in 3 days, there was not even a scab. Everything was just fresh, beautiful, perfect skin. This is what we can see on a regular basis. This is what it's supposed to be here. It's supposed to be like this here. This is who we are. This is what's past that glass ceiling. I told you all months ago I would consider teaching you about these things. Well, this was some teaching, I guess. This is some of it. Bottom line, to heal the sick. Now, I do it in Jesus' name. What does that mean? It means I have found that nothing can stand against that name. A witch or sorcerer will tell you that the power of a thing is in its name. I'm not a witch or sorcerer, but I will tell you that there's not a name higher in the universe. There is no being that will hold up against that name, especially if it's an illegal being, an illegal being. It cannot resist, it cannot fight that name. There is no kickback. That's my experience. And a disease is a name. Cancer is a name. MRSA is a name. Y'all hear me? But the key thing, when you say, like, if a king, like when Pharaoh gave to Joseph his ring, it was a signet ring. It had the Pharaoh's name and his symbol on it. When he gave that to Joseph, what did that mean? It meant Joseph could do business in the name of the Pharaoh. That's what that meant. This ring didn't have any magical power. It carried, though, the authority of the Pharaoh of Egypt. And that one who wore it could do business in the authority of that Pharaoh's name. That's what we're talking about. That authority in that name. So, the bottom line is, though, it's a oneness. When you realize you're one with God, with Creator, with Source, and that there's no separation, and that there's immense power. The quantum field of possibilities is yours. You hear me? This is fabulous good news. When you lay hands on somebody or speak life to someone, because words is the way, one of the main ways we bring things out of the spirit realm into the natural. We get it through that iron ceiling that closes off the earth from the rest of everything. It's through our words. They are powerful. They are creative. And we speak them, and it changes things for the positive or the negative. So it's simple. Realize you're one. Spend time thinking about your oneness. with God, Creator, Source, Love. Think about the love that you're loved with. Think about the oneness, the unlimited power. Then lay your hands or speak the word in the knowledge of your connection to that one who is unlimited. And it's easy. The hardest part is getting past the way we think. The biggest part is getting past the belief that we're in enmity with our own Creator. No, there is no enmity. Any enmity that had been created by these beings that came and captured us, deceived us, that debt was paid. The legal red tape was taken care of when the Master was here on the earth. It's open. It's open. So it's easy in a place of oneness. I hope that that's useful. Ponder and focus on the love of God above all else. You will flow with these energies more effortlessly the more you do it. The more you have no place in your heart for fear, because you know you are loved, because you know that the one who matters, that we come from, is love. And everything is going to be all right. The energies coming in are an expression of that love. The angelic beings that are involved in this are part of bringing that to us. We are moving into new earth. We're moving into the new era. We're coming into 5D, and it's so exciting. So let's do the heart brain coherence meditation. Take us 3 minutes, touch your heart area, bring your attention right here. Imagine breathing in to the heart and out from that area. Imagine it. Breathing into the heart area and exhale out from it. Think of something you're really grateful for. I always think of the day of my spiritual awakening. The day I was no longer suicidal as a 13-year-old kid. When I found out I was loved beyond words, everything changed. And I'm thankful for you all and our group. So think of whatever moves you. Your children, your home, your beautiful little fur babies, whatever you're grateful for, and let it touch your emotions. We'll do this for 3 minutes, breathing in and out from the heart. When you think of it, remember it. In, out, thinking of something you're grateful for, and let yourself feel it. We will do this for 3 minutes, and amazing stuff happens. You break through the walls, you break through the boundaries. The separation that happened between the heart and your brain suddenly melts, and you're operating together like we did before whatever happened. So, I will let you know when the 3 minutes is up. Let us begin. Thank you. Thank you. Let yourself feel it. You feel the love. Breathing in and out from the heart, thinking and feeling gratitude about something. you experience healing during this time. You experience bliss and love, oneness with us and with Source. Oh, thank you. That's strong. Just a few more moments. Good. That was good. Wow. Whew. I feel absolutely blissed out and intoxicated. I feel you all out there. I feel all that love between us. Yes, Chipper. It's the tribe. Chipper loves it when we do the heart-brain coherence. Well, come on. You want to come up and say hi? No? Okay. Whew. Well, come on, boy. He wouldn't have any trouble. There he goes. He's up here with us. Oh, the chipper tail has entered the screen. Come here, boy. Say hi to everyone. Say hi. Look, it's the tribe. It's the tribe. Yeah. I love you all very, very much. I hope you know, Chipper Fur, hope you know I love you, and I hope you feel the love that's part of this group between all of us. It's a real oasis and a refuge in sometimes a not so easy world. So Chipper sends his love, and I do too. And we're going to sign off now. You ready to say bye, Chip? Okay. I love you all much. Talk to you soon.